Wait, there's something very weak coming through.
A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
Hello, fellow Galactic listeners. I'm Aaron Julian, and this is WSTR, Galactic Public Access, a Star Wars podcast. Welcome to episode 109. Today we are talking about The Mandalorian Wars with our special guest, JD Barrow. Welcome back to the show, JD.
Hello. Nice to be back. Thank you for having me back.
Hello there.
Hello there. General Julian.
Oh, no. As always, joining us today on the show is Miss Heather Allred.
I'm scared. They're being weird.
Oh, no.
I kid.
I know.
Hey, everybody.
I know. JD brings out my weird side.
It's true.
We all need a friend like that.
It's all, that's not as true.
Okay. It's somewhat true.
It is.
From a certain point of view.
From a certain point of view.
Okay. And Todd Hoffman.
What's up, everyone and listeners?
Piping in from the Outer Rim. You know, Todd lives like 2 hours away.
That's, no, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
He should come on down sometime. We'll do a special session.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
It's an open invitation. Get down here, guys. We'll all get in the room. We'll all have laughs. It'll all be great.
You'll make us some Dagobah stew like we did for the 100th episode. It's gonna be awesome.
I'll bring the blue milk.
Yes, please. Have you had my Dagobah stew?
I haven't.
Stop by tomorrow. I'm making it.
Okay, I will. I'd love to. Yeah.
Excellent. Moving swiftly on, you can check us out on social media at WSTR Media, all one word, all lowercase. You can email us at mailbox@wstrmedia.com. Leave us a voicemail at 630-557-WSTR. That's 630-557-9787. You can catch our entire back catalog of episodes over at podcast.wstrmedia.com. And we are on YouTube. Search for WSTR Media, and you can find our live streams. This episode, of course, for technical reasons, technical difficulties, is not being streamed.
It's
but
JD's fault.
Everything else is. It's all JD's fault.
It's my fault.
Yeah.
We're just gonna blame the guest.
Every
smart.
time.
There was this guy in an outfit. He had some horns. He looked like the literal devil, but he was like, "Hey, I can make your streaming stuff work great." And I was like, "Sure." And then it just didn't work.
Yeah, it just
I don't understand what went wrong.
kaput.
I don't know how I could have done that better.
It's okay. You tried.
I tried.
The best of intentions, just like Anakin. All right. This podcast is brought to you by Audible. You can get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial over at audibletrial.com/WSTR. That's right. Amazon's premier audiobook service. You subscribe, I think it's $15 a month, depending on your location. And you get your choice of a free audiobook every month and a discount on over 425,000 more. You get to download it. You keep it forever. If you want to cancel your trial at any time, no questions asked. You don't even have to pay up to clean up the mess. They
Amazing.
just take it back. You keep the book. We get the payout. Everybody wins. So head on over to audibletrial.com/WSTR for your free audiobook today. And this podcast is brought to you today by our merch store. That's right. The good folks over at teespring.com. We've got a merch store over there. It's store.wstrmedia.com. We've got stickers, mugs,
Yes.
T-shirts,
Yes.
sleeveless tees, whatever
Yes.
those are called.
Tank tops.
Tank tops. Thank you. One of these days, I'll get it.
T-shirts without sleeves.
Yes. If you're too good for sleeves. Hoodies. We've got leggings. We've got socks.
And
What am I
T-shirts
missing?
with long sleeves.
T-shirts with long sleeves. And coming soon, I think, we're getting hats.
Maybe. We have to wait on Teespring for that.
Yeah. Well, I should have talked to you about this before the show. I got an email that said, hey, new merch options coming to you, including hats. We just need to set that up. So
Okay,
let's
there you go.
let's chat after the show about that. Showmanship. Anyway, head on over get yourself decked almost head to toe in merchandise that supports your local, free-range, organic, locally grown podcast. That is store.wstrmedia.com. Heather, bail me out here. Let's tease the news of the week.
Oh, man. All right. So, yes, we've got some fun teasers for you. Hopefully they will get you thinking about what we're actually going to be talking about later.
Wow.
So we will start with Revenge of the Title.
Ooh.
And then Snoke Ain't No Joke.
Todd, did you write these teasers?
Of course I did.
Why am I not surprised?
Yeah.
And then we
And the next
have
one?
Happy, Happy, Joy, Joy. Toga, Toga, Toga.
Well, those are two different segments. So Happy, Happy, Joy, Joy, and then Toga, Toga, Toga.
But it went
the
so well
semicolon.
together.
The semicolon separates the segment there.
The
I can't help
clauses.
you.
I don't know how you could ever think that repeating words are connected like that. That's just ridiculous.
Okay.
You need to watch some Ren and Stimpy, my friend.
Oh, man. All right. So, correction. Happy, Happy, Joy, Joy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pause.
Pause.
Toga, Toga, Toga.
Thank you. Yes. There you go.
Pause. Wookiees.
Ooh,
I think our podcast has peaked.
that's it.
Never gonna get better than
Just
this.
pack the whole thing up.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.
Oh, that's all I got. That's all I've got for you.
Okay.
I'm glad we go over this beforehand. You know, like
Yes. We keep it real here.
Professionals.
All right, Todd. We've got some trash to sort through on Twitter. Time for the Twitter trash compactor.
Get in there, you big polio! I don't care what you smell! Get in there and don't worry about it!
All right, so every week we look at the previous week of what we talked about and try to kind of come up with a poll that talks about what we talked about. So here we go. Last week we were talking about good old R5D4, the bad motivator, the red one, and we asked, who is your favorite A New Hope Star Wars droid? Write-ins welcomed. So obviously Twitter only has 4 choices. So
Why?
I don't know. Well, because they know Aaron would not pick any of them and just go.
I should have wrote in.
Yeah, exactly. So we have 4 choices. 2 of them are very obvious. R2D2, C3PO, and obviously we're covering R5D4, so we had to put them in. And threw in a mouse droid there. So those are your 4 choices for A New Hope Star Wars droid. Heather, since you're our resident droid expert, what say you? What's your favorite droid from A New Hope?
I believe I responded to this Twitter poll with the question, why are we even asking the question?
Yes.
Because the answer is quite obvious.
They're all your favorites.
No, I pick R2. I always pick R2.
Yeah. The blue one.
The blue one. He's sassy.
Yeah.
Which one was he in?
All
I don't know.
8 films.
You got to dive into the legends for that one.
Yeah.
Read the books.
Yeah.
He pops up.
Right, exactly.
So
All right, so you say R2.
I do say
Hey,
R2, although I love
yeah.
that you threw a mouse droid in as an option.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
I'm a little disappointed at the lack of HK-47. I just want to put that in there.
Yeah, but he's not in A New Hope.
He's not in A New Hope.
Or is he?
I mean, he might be. There's, the theory that everythlything's connected. I don't know.
All right,
He
Aaron.
killed Uncle Owen.
Yeah, right.
No.
No. Aaron, who's your favorite droid in A New Hope?
I'm taking a write-in on this one.
Okay, what?
I cannot believe you didn't put the Gonk droid in there.
Oh, yeah, that's.
Gonk.
I wrote in myself, and it said Gonk all the way. Nothing is sexier
You
than
wrote
walking.
in on your own, your own poll.
Yeah, of course. I thought, a mouse droid is more relative than, like people would know a mouse droid because Chewbacca yells at him. But a Gonk
Fair
droid,
enough.
you're going to miss him.
Yep.
You're going to miss him.
Everybody's favorite walking battery.
Yeah, I there's nothing sexier than a walking battery. So I love me a good walking trash can,
Trash
that
man.
gonks.
Yeah.
That gonks.
Yeah. Let's me know. Oh,
Yeah.
there's my
so
trash.
yeah,
Yep.
JD, how about you? What's your favorite A New Hope Star Wars droid? Yeah.
Probably Mark Hamill's acting. Because don't get me wrong, I love Mark Hamill, but in episode 4, he's just getting into the Hollywood scene, and he's just he's so stiff. It's so hard to watch him. Everyone else is like, wow, Han Solo and Princess Leia, and there's this Chewbacca, furry alien thing. They're all cool, and then Luke Skywalker comes in, and you're like, oh.
So you're saying Mark Hamill's a little robotic?
In 4, yeah, he gets much better in the others, but in 4, he's very stiff. He's very
But JD, he's a tenderfoot. He's inexperienced. He doesn't know what he's doing. It's a perfect representation of Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, you need to get out of the house a bit more and just maybe go meet a nice girl, and then we can talk.
So there you have it.
Pilloried by our own guest.
Right, exactly. So everyone agreed with Heather. R2D2 was the favorite New Hope Star Wars droid. There's a lot of droids in A New Hope.
True.
Especially our little Jawa friends with the Sandcrawler. There's quite a few in there. But
Hashtag Gonk droids matter. Gonk lives matter. Is that too controversial?
No, it's not. I mean, Heather. That's what Heather hashtagged last week too. She said droids live matter. So
Okay.
we'll do Gonk droids.
All right.
That's kind of the whole message Solo was pushing, right?
That's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
The whole social justice droid warriors.
I kind of shut that out of my memory. I had a little memory wipe there.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
All right, so there you go. There you have it. That's our poll from last week. So tune in, and we'll continue to. We'll continue to do that, and then Aaron wants us to do more lively tweets. So we'll see.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot happening out there in the Star Wars Twitterverse, and you retweet a lot of it. So it's like, let's pick a spicy tweet or two.
Spicy tweet. All right, so we'll do Twitter trash compactor and spicy tweets next week. There you go.
Sure. Why not?
All right, I'm bailing myself out of this segment, so we're going right into the main topic.
And now for our feature presentation.
All right, so we have our special guest, JD, and he really likes the Legends, and we're going to talk about the Mandalorian Wars. So, JD, for our listeners and Heather, why don't you give us a little background of what you like about the Mandalorian Wars and what they are?
Yeah, sure. So the Mandalorian Wars are awesome for a lot of reasons. I think number one is that any dedicated Star Wars fan knows at least about the Mandalorians and the fact that they're just cool. They're bounty hunters. They shoot people. They stab people. They're Jango Fett, Boba Fett. They wear super cool armor. They're just cool. They're just all around cool. Like, even if you don't know much about them, you're like, Mandalorians are cool. So that's definitely one big reason. A second one that's really interesting is that the Mandalorian Wars specifically, that event was not really a thing until Lucas handed over permission to BioWare, who at the time nobody knew what that company was, to make Knights of the Old Republic 1. And they literally created like this entire span of time before the movies, before like most of the history of Star Wars, and just kind of revolutionized what a lot of people thought as Star Wars, what Star Wars could be, and the Mandalorian Wars is the start of that. So the basic story is that this is during this is a couple hundred years or so, I think, after like the hyperspace wars with the Sith and all that nonsense. And then so basically the Mandalorians are on their planet of Malachor 5, and their new leader, who they refer to as Mandalore, is like, hey, let's like take over the galaxy. That sounds fun. So they're all like, sure. So they just start kicking the crap out of the galaxy. They take over like most of the Outer Rim, burning and pillaging and killing. And it's just good
Viking
times.
style. Viking
style, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
And then they enter into Republic space, which is a lot smaller than than like the movies or post movies era.
This is like a young Republic.
Yeah, young Republic. Yeah.
Okay.
So they bust into that territory, and the Republic's just getting slaughtered. They're just dying left, right, and center. And so they go to the Jedi. And I think what's really interesting about this time period is that the Jedi aren't fully aligned with the Republic. They're actually a completely separate entity. So they
should have been all along.
like they should have been. Wow.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Their main base is on Dantooine. Which you hear about in episode 4. That's a reference.
The less popular cousin of Tatooine.
Yeah, Dantooine. So that's a plug for your guys' robot, episode 4 thing. But yeah, so they're on their headquarters on Dantooine, and the Republic's like, hey, can you come help us out? Laser swords would be pretty fun to kill Mandalorians with. And the Jedi Council is like, nah, like there's something evil and spooky going on, and nah, who cares? Just let millions of people die.
How you summarize history. Please continue.
This is totally accurate, 100% representation.
This is a good enough summary.
This is good enough.
Right,
Mandalorian
exactly.
Wars.
And so the Jedi Council is like, nah, there's something spooky going on over the hill. We're going to wait. We're going to let a whole bunch of people die, which is the stupidest thing ever, but I'm not supposed to share my opinion, so discredit that. So then this awesome, the coolest dude to ever come out of Star Wars, Revan, comes up and is like, no, let's save the people. He takes half the Jedi. They go, they beat the Mandalorians. And actually, interesting thing. So there's been a lot of retconning in the Star Wars universe for a long time, even before Disney took over. So originally, BioWare and then Obsidian Entertainment for the first 2 Knights of the Old Republic games had Revan as being half Mandalore.
Okay.
And that was part of the reason why he was so good at fighting them, is because he grew up, he knew their tactics, he knew their stuff. But then when EA came along with their big The Old Republic online game, which is still going, it's still pretty fun, they were like, that's too good of a story writing, so he's just Steven. So Revan, Star Wars has been retconning things for a long time. That's just a little side note.
Nothing new.
Yeah, so Revan takes the guys, he beats the Mandalorians, lots of Jedi die, lots of Republic people die, but he wins. He saves the galaxy. He actually ends up destroying Malachor 5. I think it's the first time, I might be wrong in this, but I think it's the first time a planet is actually destroyed in the Star Wars timeline.
We're talking like blown up or glass.
So what he does is that he takes one of the big gravity generators that's on a capital ship, and he sends his best engineer to the core of the planet, and they basically soup it up with a bunch of power cells. They flip it on, and the whole planet crushes itself. Which is pretty cool. It's a pretty cool way.
That is pretty cool.
The reason he does this, actually, is because he goes down, he does one-on-one combat with Mandalore to, like, get the title of Mandalore and tell all the Mandalorians to stop, because they have a very strict code of honor. He does it. He kills Mandalore. He gets the thing. He's like, I'm Mandalore now. You all have to do what I say. And they're all like, well, we're not gonna. We're just gonna keep fighting.
Okay.
And so that's why he crushes the planet, because he's like, everyone's just gonna die.
Everyone stop.
This is just gonna be bad. So he's like, crush the planet. Bam. And then he goes off. He disappears, and he disappears with all of the remaining Jedi who followed him, except one. One Jedi goes back to the council. But then all of the rest of that, all the
Jedi
post,
is that?
She is known as the Exile.
Okay.
What her actual canon name is, I don't know. And so the
if
rest,
you played the games, you know.
If you played,
right, yeah.
Well, you get to name her if you play the games. So that's not very helpful. Look it up on Wikipedia. I'm sure they'll have the name for you.
Yeah.
So yeah, the rest of the story about what happens to Revan, what happens to the exile, all of that is picked up in tons of books and games, and it's a bunch of nonsense. But that is the Mandalorian Wars, and it is the starting point for all of the Old Republic. It influences the rest of the Old Republic, and until Disney took over, it influenced, how, like, why Mandalorians were the way they were. It influenced their current, like, way of doing things. It also gave reasons and explanations for why the Republic didn't own all of the galaxy, because some systems were staying out due to what had happened in the Mandalorian Wars and to the Jedi Civil War that came after. And it really shaped a lot of the reasons for why Lucasfilms did a lot of the things they did with the movies and prequels and other content they came out with. And I think Disney recognized how influential it was because in 2017, I believe, this was after they had obviously taken over the rights, they actually reestablished the Mandalorian Wars as canon. They haven't filled in all the details. Revan's still not canon. Knights of the Old Republic games are still not canon, which I think is weird because they're currently still funding the online game. But, whatever.
Whatever.
Who cares? But they've recognized that it's a bit too big of a deal to leave out, and they even put it in the show Rebels. Darth Maul and Darth Maul and some other Rebel boys in the show Rebels, they went to Malachor 5, what was left of it, and then also in the comic book Darth Maul, Sidious talks to Maul about the Mandalorian Wars. So they're very much back in canon now, and their effects are kind of back in canon as well.
See, I had heard that the Old Republic online game, that was all canon. Is that not?
It's not actually, which a lot of people are like, why not? The main reason is because they have yet to say, they are very hesitant to say that Knights of the Old Republic 1, Knights of the Old Republic 2, which are the basis for the online game, are canon. Because those things have a lot of lore in them that I think Disney kind of wants to stay away from. Like, for instance, to name a few things, they have Revan being able to switch between Jedi and Sith. They have his master talk about the fact that the Force is actually just an entity and the light side and dark side is just how it comes out in individual people. And just a bunch of little subtle things like that would kind of very much change the nature of Star Wars in some subtle ways. And I think Disney knows this, and I think I don't think they know what they want to do with the Old Republic yet, because they haven't done a whole lot with that area. And I think they're either leaving it alone and they're going to have somebody else make new games and new continuity for it and make money that way, or they're going to bring in old stuff over time. Nobody really knows. But yeah, it's not actually canon, which is crazy to think about.
Yeah, because my understanding was that up to this point, since 2012, they've largely been ignoring the Old Republic era because of the online game, and that they wanted to give that room to develop. But why bother if that's not going to be canon?
Well, yeah, but money.
Fair enough.
It's still making quite a bit of money. It is still the second most successful online, massively multiplayer online game next to World of Warcraft. So they're kind of just letting that cash cow graze and go where it wants. But they're trying to leave the canon open because they're probably either going to want to make new stuff and make more money that way, or they just don't know what to do with it.
All right, so that was awesome, JD. That was like the best explanation of Mandalore Wars. You left out one key point, but I'm going to hold on to that because I want to bring in Heather here.
Snap.
What do you think so far of what you heard about the Mandalorian Wars?
Wow. So yeah, no, I mean, it sounds all really cool. I'm sitting here being like, okay, so I don't play the video games. So like outside of Wikipedia, how am I supposed to ever know this kind of information?
WSTR podcast.
Good.
YouTube
Yeah.
Wikipedia.
and Wikipedia.
Although
There's like 1 or 2 books and 1 comic line, but most of that information really does come from the games.
Sure.
If you really want the details, you either need to like watch a detailed YouTube thing, listen to more WSTR podcasts,
Or just like invite JD, you know, like
or
JD,
just invite me over and I'll tell you everything.
For
we
sure.
might have to have you on
sure.
as our guest historian.
I would love that. I'd be down. It's my
Yeah.
favorite era of Star Wars.
Well, JD, you mentioned it a little bit with the video game, but the key thing and why people really resonate with Revan is he switched.
Yeah, he switches.
So after he takes the Mandalorian mask, which is one of the symbols of Mandalore, and said, "Hey, I am, you know, the leader of this pack."
Yeah.
Him and his apprentice Malik switch to the dark side while investigating Sith influences that caused the Mandalore to go to war.
Yeah.
Say that 5 times fast.
Yeah.
Mandalore to go to war. The Sith were influential in making Mandalore kind of push them to do their Viking thing and kind of rage and plummet the galaxy. So I think that's another really key, fascinating thing about the Mandalorian Wars, which happened, you know, we're talking like almost 4,000 years before A New Hope. So we're way back, and I think that's why they picked that era, because it was there's nothing there that they could mess up, basically.
Yeah,
and that's why at that time, Lucasfilm was like, no one's talked about that. We don't even know the origin of Jedi or anything like that. You can have your fun with whatever that is.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So I guess back on the subject of retcons. So Knights of the Old Republic 1 didn't actually tell you what happened to Revan. Basically, all it says is that the Mandalorian Wars happened in somewhat better explanation than I gave. And then they say that Revan disappeared for a while, and then he came back with a ton of ships, like a ton of spaceships, and all of the Jedi that were under his command are now evil and Sith, and he's evil and Sith, and they just start taking over the beat-up, war-torn Republic. They just start, boom, mashing into it. And at this point, the Jedi enter into the war. They enter into the second war because they're like, oh, shoot, it's the Sith, it's the only thing we care about, and we're stupid and lame, and we should have been there from the beginning. But whatever, not supposed to give my opinion. And what's a fun little tidbit is that at this point, the Jedi and Sith are really not known by the average Joe Schmo in the Star Wars universe. So this war is then dubbed the Jedi Civil War, because that's all people see it as. They just see it as Jedi killing Jedi.
Just a bunch of guys with laser swords.
Just laser swords, just whacking each other's arms off in bars. So Revan comes back. He's taken over, but eventually he switches depending on what you do in the game. But canonically, he switches back to a Jedi, and he saves the galaxy, and then he disappears again. And the interesting thing here is that Knights of the Old Republic 2, written by Obsidian Entertainment, actually took a lot of the big question marks that BioWare left. BioWare was like, whatever. Like,
they kind of did a J.J. Abrams, like, here's a bunch of little things, and maybe they'll be answered, maybe not. So.
Yeah, but Obsidian Entertainment was like, let's put something cool in there. Let's not just burn it and disappoint everyone. So they said in Knights of the Old Republic 2, because you meet Revan's master, one of his main masters, and she talks about the nature of the Force, and she has all this really cool philosophy, and she's a pretty cool character. Her name's Kreia, if anyone's interested. But she basically says, everyone's got the story wrong. Revan never fell to the dark side. Revan found out that the Jedi Council was right, that there was some dark thing over the horizon, and the Sith were pushing the Mandalorians to kill and slaughter and do a bunch of stuff, which is why they broke their code of honor originally. When Revan was like, stand down, and they were like, nope, JK. But according to Knights of the Old Republic 2, Revan decided to take on the mantle of Sith and to come through the Republic that was weakened and establish himself as like ruler, and then turn all of his new guns and new armies and new stuff onto the actual Sith. And he came up with this plan because he found out that the true Sith, the big bad guys, basically wanted to just come in and murder everything. Like just wipe everything out. So he was like...
He was a double agent.
So he was like, okay, I'm going to go in and I'm going to I'm just going to, as peacefully as I can, take over militarily and then save the galaxy that way. Because the Republic can't win against the Sith like this. And if I come in like, hey guys, let's get ready to fight, then the Sith are just going to come in. They're going to blow everyone up. And there's actually a few points that back this up in Knights of the Old Republic 1, because they talk about so Revan gets injured, he falls away from being in control of the Sith, turns into a Jedi, all that stuff. His apprentice Malak, who you mentioned, basically just starts going on this murder spree, starts killing everyone. And everybody talks about how when Revan was in charge, he would come in, he would offer the planet a chance to surrender. He wouldn't kill anyone if they did. And if they didn't, he would only attack the military and he would keep all the civilians safe, whereas Malak just blows people up. So there's even evidence in Knights of the Old Republic 1 that supports what Knights of the Old Republic 2 was trying to say. But then, of course, the Old Republic online game showed up and EA was like, nah, let's get rid of the good story. Revan just turned evil and then he turned good. And that's it. And it really gets rid of the nuance because Knights of the Old Republic 2 talks about how the Force can be used for good or evil. It is not one half good, one half evil.
Right,
it depends
exactly.
on how you use it, why you're using it, and how Revan had figured this out, and he was able to actively switch between whatever side he needed. And his intention was to save the galaxy. And the cost of this, the really cool thing is that in Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2, they talk about how the cost, and the Old Republic somewhat mentions this, the cost of being in between the Force, like this, not choosing a side, means that you don't actually belong to the Force at all. You're just using it like a tool. So when you die, you just disappear. You just go into darkness. You don't join the Force at all. You completely vanish. And basically this idea that Revan is misunderstood by everyone, and regardless of if he's trying to save the Republic from the Mandalorians or from the Sith or from whoever, everyone's kind of against him at the end of the day because they don't trust him or they don't believe him or they don't understand him. And just like he will one day disappear into the Force, while he lives, he doesn't belong to anyone. And one day he's just going to disappear. And it's a very tragic tale that EA then kind of somewhat ruined. But who cares?
as is their want. So it's kind of like Wreck-It Ralph. It's like, just because you are a bad guy doesn't mean you are a bad guy.
Yeah, kind of. It's somewhat of the story of the greater good, but actually thinking about like moral consequences and trying to be a good guy, even if you're pretending to be the bad guy. Doing what's ultimately right without sacrificing all of the little things along the way.
Now you see why I love these games so much? And what we're missing with this EA deal?
It's crap.
It's sad.
This is all ridiculously fascinating because I sit here as someone who doesn't know the lore, still is figuring out canon and all that kind of stuff. And, my knowledge of Mandalorians are, the Fets. And they are bounty hunters and they don't necessarily care who they work for as long as, the check clears the bank kind of a thing. And so to hear Well, first off, I just love when we have guests and they just speak with so much passion about Star Wars. I think that's just something that gets me kind of really excited on the inside. So thanks for doing that, JD. But yeah, this idea that they, as a group, started this like war and are fighting, and it's different, and it's more than just what I knew about them. And to see then, as you talk about Revan and all of these changes, and like my brain immediately went to Finn and how he lived by a certain way as a stormtrooper, but then saw a change. And obviously it's not so much a back and forth thing anymore, but just there is so much this idea.
Right.
This idea of a code, and the Mandalorians have a code, and the Jedi have a code, and the Sith have a code. That which code do you live by, and how do they intersect with each other? And
there's
fantastic.
There's other books too. Karen Travis really fleshed out the Mandalore like culture and even language.
Mythos.
And she did a couple things with just like post Return of the Jedi that are really fascinating, and a lot about the clones and that culture that was tight to Jango Fett. But there's also that thing where Jango Fett and technically Boba Fett might not be Mandalorian. Technically, they just wear the armor.
They're
so
posers.
There's that thing too. They're posers. They just wear the armor, and that's the other thing that you find out kind of in the lore and stuff. Just like the armor, what that means, and what that means to culture, and how that's passed around to generations. And it does have kind of that Viking kind of mentality and that warrior mentality, which is a different culture that we don't really get in Star Wars, which is nice. And I think this is a great segue to maybe ask JD, what do you think The Mandalorian will be for Disney streaming or Disney Plus or whatever it is?
Disney Flicks.
Whoa. Well, that is very reliant on two things.
Yes.
Number one, how safe Disney wants to be. So what I kind of mean by that is that the Mandalorians, especially if you look at how they're represented in Legends, are a really fascinating culture. They love war, they love honor, they love a good death, they love a good fight, and those are kind of their main components. But within that, they have a very strict code of laws and regulations and ways they go about doing things.
Like the Spartans.
Yeah. Except with laser guns. So
Yes. Less kicking messengers into pits.
and more just shooting them. And part of their tragedy, like you were saying about just knowing the Fets and just knowing about having a check clear. Part of their tragedy is that they used to be this glorious warrior race, and now they're just a bunch of guys looking to make money. So Disney could either play it safe and just be like, oh, they're just really good at fighting people. Or they could really go into that culture and they could really digest it and dissect it and really look at what makes them tick and why they do what they do and why they are the kind of people they are now. Even if it's just a single Mandalorian, there's no other Mandalorians around, he could be very introspective on his own culture, his own race. You could have an amazing self-discovering story about him never growing up under the code and maybe finding out about it, finding out what the Mandalorians used to be like. That would be really fun, in my opinion. But that's really
more like you say, he is like Jango and Boba as like a gun for hire, but through his own discovery process, he's finding out that culture that he didn't even know.
Yeah, and that would really
awesome.
connect to audiences because most audiences don't even know. That could be cool. But yeah, that's really up to how safe Disney wants to be, because that's a kind of a complex narrative, and that might, aggravate some people.
But JD, thinking is hard.
Yeah, thinking is hard. I just want to watch another Transformers movie. I don't want to think when I watch something on Netflix or Disney streaming. I just want to feel good about princesses. Yeah. So that's very much up to Disney and how cool they want to be. And then the second thing is that who they hire to write this. Because we've seen that Lucasfilm, say what you will about them, say what you will about Lucas himself, they were pretty good at picking out some talented writers for their extra, universe stuff, some stuff that wasn't in the main movies. They gave some unknown people some big chances. Like BioWare was not very established at the time, but they were like, you guys look like you might be able to write a thing or two. Go for it. Have that fun. And so I think if they even pick a decent writing team or decent writing people, and they just don't try and control and like make it, what's the most popular demographic for this, then it would probably turn out amazing. And really, I think it's up to what kind of a lesson have they learned by the bad box sales of Solo? Are they going to keep trying to control everything on a corporate level that happens to Star Wars narrative and Star Wars media? Or are they going to let creative writers and directors actually have the freedom that the fans are kind of used to? And if they try to make this another, by the book shape, everyone likes it, let's try and make another Teen Titans Go, hit as many people as possible type thing, then we've seen how the Star Wars community has reacted lately to what Disney has been doing. I think they will just throw this away like anything else. I think Disney is at a very precarious position that if they do not start looking at what the community likes, because I don't think we're very hard to please, personally. I just don't. I like lasers. I like spaceships. Give me a decently written story, okay, but just give me lasers and spaceships. I'll be fine. Right. At the end of the day, I don't think our community is that hard to please, but it's really up to what kind of lesson have they learned by their current sales, and how greedy and safe are they going to be? Or are they going to take a chance?
Well, from a quick Wikipedia search, it appears that the main writer for it is going to be Jon Favreau, which, if you know his works previously, Iron Man, Elf, he's The Jungle Book. He's got some winners under his belt.
Okay, yeah, and he's got a wide range, so he could take this in a lot of
He's executive
directions.
producing as well, so.
Okay. So yeah, I guess that question answered. It's just up to how much does Disney try and popularize it or control what comes out of this writer's pen.
Yeah, like, are they really going to let him out of his cage and let him work, or are they going to be like, no, it has to be a certain way?
You wrote the Jungle Book, put in I'm the King of the String in there.
Right. No, well, the other thing too that's really exciting is Dave Filoni is directing the first 2 episodes. And Dave and George really did flesh out some of the Mandalore stuff in the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
So I think he's very passionate about that. And we've seen how, Clone Wars and Rebels has Mandalore culture in it. So I don't think they're shying away from it. But like you said, JD, I think if they let it run and not be too safe, I think this could be a really cool show.
Yeah, because Dave Filoni did amazing with the Mandalorian side of things in the Clone Wars, but you have to keep in mind, Disney was not in control of the Clone Wars at the time. We've only seen them do Rebels, which has been a very safe show. So let's, see if they finally give Dave Filoni a chance to make something. And maybe the Clone Wars will be a good preview to that and that relationship.
Yeah. But only if you subscribe to Disney Flix.
Oh man.
Just have one person in your family subscribe to Disney Flix and one person subscribe to Netflix, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, right, exactly.
50 computers on the same account, you'll be fine.
Yeah. Share passwords, all that jazz.
So yeah, time will tell. We'll see how that plans out for the Mandalorian as that's coming out this fall. It's so crazy.
Yep. So JD, any final takeaways?
Yeah, final takeaways
from the Mandalorian Wars. What can we learn?
If you're a Star Wars fan and you haven't played Knights of the Old Republic, at least one, You owe it to yourself. You owe it to yourself to do it. You can get it on mobile now.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
What?
You can get it on your mobile phone.
Mobile?
Yes, that's how old it is. And that's how ridiculous technology
It is
is
old.
nowadays. But yeah, it's like super cheap on Steam. It's super cheap on mobile.
The games are $3 each. $3.
Just do it. Just do it.
Just do it. It'll
Look
keep
up
you
a-
entertained for hours.
Yeah, it's
You'll have
Cheaper than a
all-
cup of coffee.
It's cheaper than a
right,
cup
yeah.
of coffee.
Yeah, throw that Starbucks
And
away.
it's-
Get yourself some Mandalorian Wars.
Better
Actually,
than a
she could
Twilight.
buy. This is for Heather. She could buy Starbucks and play KOTOR and just soak it all in.
Yeah.
I bet you anything it'll run on your laptop, Heather. And I know your laptop.
Okay.
Or heck, if you don't want to do that, just watch all the just look up
Yeah.
YouTube, all main dialogue for KOTOR 1.
Yes, yeah.
take
They
that
need
in
to set-
chunks.
It'll be like 7 hours.
It's
but-
so well written. It's so amazing.
The cutscenes are amazing too.
No, yeah, they're incredible, especially for its
Yeah,
time.
6 hours. So
6 hours, bam.
take a weekend.
Yeah,
I survived the holiday special. I think I can handle this.
But yeah,
Yeah,
if you're a
you go.
Star Wars nerd or a Star Wars fan and you don't know the story, you don't know what happens in these games, at least the first one, you gotta do it because it's so well written. And in my opinion, if more Star Wars fans knew about this kind of content, if they knew about the Mandalorian Wars, if they knew about the Old Republic, if they knew about, even post Episode 6 Legend stuff like Thrawn and some of those amazing characters and books, I feel like the standard for what is currently coming out would kind of be raised by the community, and then hopefully we could, just get better stuff.
Yes.
Because we would know what Star Wars is capable of.
Yeah, I mean, this is a large reason why I stood up last week and screamed to the heavens about the EA deal and how they're handling Star Wars. It's because, we used to have games like this.
We used to have good stories in Star Wars.
Yeah, but now it's like Battlefront 2. Neither of them very good.
You don't fight what you hate. You save what you love.
It's true.
JD
It's
Barrow,
true.
ladies and gentlemen.
There you go. All right, Heather, why don't we move on to news of the week?
And now, the Star Wars News of the Week.
Tuesday, which will have been like a week previous when this guy airs. Everyone on
Our
the
episodes
internet
are
thought,
males.
What?
Our episodes are males. You're like when this guy airs. So I didn't know the episode was
What?
a male.
Yeah, where are we going?
Sorry, just go with me. Pretend like I'm saying correct words.
All right,
It's really the better option. So we all thought we were going to get a title reveal when the Disney stockholders meeting took place. But Mr. Eager mentioned nada.
Nope,
Goose egg.
nothing.
Zero.
Zilch. Bupkis.
Bumpkin. There we go. Thanks, Aaron. So we are still without a title. But it looks like i09.com or 109.com. It's hard to tell.
IO9.
Is it IO9?
Yeah.
Iodine.
You guys are super smart.
I know.
This is the best Star Wars title reveal. Let me read for you, gentlemen. No matter how, when, or where we find out the title for Star Wars Episode 9, there's little doubt it can touch what Lucasfilm did for Revenge of the Sith. And that includes Ewan's red carpet realization. The year was 2004.
Set the picture. Set the picture.
It was
Yep.
a simpler time in fandom. A time when fans could get passes to San Diego Comic-Con anytime they wanted and only had to line up for Hall H a few hours early instead of a few days. At that time, Saturdays in Hall H used to be called Star Wars Saturdays. And that year, fans were eager for updates on the next and final prequel film, Episode 3. Well, Lucasfilm totally delivered. In the depths of the packed hall, the lights went down and this video played. It looks like it says, I was in Hall H watching this clip 15 years ago. It was going on. You could feel the anticipation rising, people quickly realizing how each montage ended with the title of the film. So then George Lucas called action, and we were watching some of the first behind-the-scenes footage from episode 3. And not just any footage from the long-anticipated showdown between Obi-Wan and Anakin. Finally, were the quick cuts against black the word revenge. Anakin, and finally the title Revenge of the Sith, revealed to the world for the first time. Jumped out of my seat, screamed, as well as 7,000 other people in the room.
7,000?
7,000.
That's what's in Hall H, baby.
That's a lot of thousands.
All of his close friends.
Yeah.
It was electric, unforgettable. And when the lights came up, the panel's host, Steve Sansweet, was wearing a black t-shirt with the title on it in red. He said they were on sale now at the Star Wars store on the show floor. And basically, push and shove, trample the fallen took place, and people ran for the doors. And that was a prequel episode 3 title reveal. Where is episode 9?
Yeah. Yeah, so that begs the question, you know, I mean, it is all about merchandise. Say, hey, get the t-shirt why supplies last. But it would be very interesting if they did, because we know like they're going to do something at Celebration. It would be very interesting and quite frankly ballsy if they just waited and did something similar to that at Celebration, where they did have some behind the scenes stuff and then did the title reveal then instead of some kind of title. Like Last Jedi, I think, was a tweet and, you know, or whatever. You know, Force Awakens, I forget if what they did there, like a Facebook post or whatever. It'd be very interesting if they held it that long till April. And here's a little behind the scenes of what, you know, episode 9 is going to be all about, and then reveal the title. It could be very interesting.
I don't know, man. Revealing information like that through a tweet, it's just, we lose something there, you know?
Yeah.
It's just, it just doesn't mean as much as like the whole shabam with, you know, Comic-Con or Celebration and just making an event out of it.
Yeah.
It's like, now we have like leaks and tweets and other words that sound like eats. And it's just like, what's
well, that's
what
I'm saying.
It's so thin, you know?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you could tell this guy remembers that feeling, and that was for a prequel.
Yeah.
You know, and now we're getting to the end of the saga Skywalker story, and if they held on to it that long, because, I mean, the internet was ablaze on Tuesday. It's happening today. It's happening today.
Yeah.
And it didn't happen.
Nope.
So
is it time for Aaron's old man soapbox?
Please.
Aaron's old man soapbox.
I feel like I'd be right on that soapbox, and I'm not even. I'm not even that old of a person.
Is it possible to have meaningful memories with social media?
No,
I don't think we do.
No.
Oh wait, no. The fake Justin Bieber has cancer, and like the 500 girls that shave their heads.
Okay, I'll give you that memorable one. That was pretty funny.
But that's the only one.
That's the only one. Because it's like when you're recalling stories with your friends and the good times that you had with them and the funny things and remember when and all that. It's never about social media. It's about stuff you did in the real world. And stuff like this that really emphasizes that. It's like people remember, you know, 15 years later, the Revenge of the Sith title reveal.
Do you remember when people used to go outside? What a time that was.
Yeah, imagine that. All I'm saying is it's like no one remembers where they were when they read a tweet that, new Star Wars title. I don't know. Maybe
that's what I'm saying.
Maybe I'm just screaming against the wind, but
no, but
that's what a soapbox is after all.
Right, exactly. I agree. I feel like they hold on to this to April, and you get more than 7,000 people in a room and to the overflow area, and they do something where they haven't leaked any footage, they haven't shown any behind the scenes photos. Like we got 2 people, like official. I think it would be monumental.
Yeah,
it'd be awesome. It'd be awesome.
I can feel the energy at McCormick. Like if they were not even just in whatever hall, but like every monitor available in that entire building turns on, and it's this like 90-second clip with the title reveal. I mean, I guarantee you every single human being in that McCormick place, you could hear a pin drop. We'd all be like, what's going on?
What is it going to be? Yeah.
I mean,
even
that would be
before
an
that, it's just
epic
like
moment.
everybody, like there's a energy crackling through the room. The force, if you will.
The
And you're
force.
like,
Force.
everybody whispering like, oh, are they going to reveal the title today? I can't wait to see it. Ah! You know?
Yeah. And you're Aaron, you're right in the head. Like, do you remember when you read your phone when it said The Last Jedi?
Oh.
You're like, no.
I was pooping probably.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, we're just discussing the font color, like, oh, it's different because it's whatever, you know. So,
Yeah.
But
You could have the whole reveal at Celebration, or you could just have a social media manager squirt something out in a tweet. It's like, whatever. Don't screw it up, Disney, please.
Okay, there you go. All right.
All right.
What else we got, Todd?
All right. Comicbook.com said Star Wars fan claimed to see Darth Vader in Snoke image from The Last Jedi. Here we go, folks. Star Wars Episode 9 is finally being released this year, as we just talked about. According to one theorist, it includes a hidden reference to Darth Vader in Star Wars The Last Jedi.
What?
Yes. So you go to Reddit. That's where all the cool stuff happens. This guy's username is The Circular Blue. Shared an interesting idea on the Reddit Star Wars speculation. Great topic there. And so it goes on to say that according to there's a hidden subliminal image of Darth Vader in Star Wars, The Last Jedi scene with Snoke. So I put it here in our notes, but you have to check it out yourself because this is a
We'll blast
audio
it on
podcast.
our socials.
Yeah. This is an audio podcast, not a visual thing. But really what it is when Hux is getting reprimanded by Snoke in the First Order kind of Star Destroyer. And, you know, there's Snoke's big hologram head, and he's kind of in between 2 window panels. And this guy's stretching a little bit, but it looks like it could be Snoke as Darth Vader. So I'm not really sure if he's saying that it's Anakin or if it's just a nice little twist that he kind of is frame property where it kind of looks like he's in Darth Vader's mask. So there you have it.
If you squint a little bit, you could probably see it there. I don't know. I think it's one of those things where it's like, if it is intentional, it's like, you didn't see it, but your brain did.
Right, exactly.
I think if a new Star Wars theory is out there, we all immediately jump on it, we trust it, and we expect that out of the next movie.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's the way of the world today.
Well, yeah, this is kind of similar to when the first trailer for Last Jedi popped up, and we all thought we saw Yoda like looking over at Rey when she was on the on the cliff there. It's that, and then it turned out it was just a rock.
Yeah.
I love to think of like maybe people, you know, when theories come out like this for any big franchise, be it like Marvel or Star Wars or whatever, that, you know, they release a trailer and then all of a sudden all these theories start popping up, being like, oh, Yoda's on a rock over here, and then like the actual creative team who's like doing the movie, they look over and they go, man, that would have been a cool idea. Why did we think of that?
Where were you guys a few months ago?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right, so, Aaron, I picked this particular one for you.
Of course you did. Of course you did.
I want you to stand up again.
I was going to say, enter soapbox.
I'm going to stand up.
Oh.
Standing up will not work on these mics. I'm going to sit down angrily.
I can confirm he did attempt to stand up.
Yes, exactly.
Surprisingly, Disney is happy with EA's Star Wars games. All right, so everybody gather around. So
yeah,
Disney had their quarterly, earnings meeting or whatever
with
lately.
no title. With no
right. title. Yeah,
right.
They live streamed it actually. I was busy at the time, but you could watch it anyway. EA, we all know, has had the exclusive deal with Disney to make Star Wars console titles. All well and good, except we've gotten 2 games. More games have been canceled than have been produced, and those that have been produced have sucked. So, in a recent earnings call, Disney CEO Bob Iger replied to questions about the company's relationship with EA by saying that the deal works well for both parties. We've had good relationships with some of those we're licensing to, notably EA and the relationship on the Star Wars properties, and we're probably going to stay on that side of the business and put our capital elsewhere, Iger said. We're good at making movies and television shows and theme parks and cruise ships and the like. We've just never managed to demonstrate much skill on the publishing side of games. Yeah, so the deal's still on. We've got, 4 more years? 5 more years?
Well, there are 2 other studios that are producing games currently.
Well, EA has the exclusive right to publish. So nobody else can, commission and make games without EA's approval.
But at least we have 2 other companies actually making the games.
Does EA own them?
No, but EA will be publishing them, which has worked out in the past. EA has published some really good games that they weren't in direct control of, like Dragon Age Inquisition is a good example. So I don't really care if EA publishes a game. It's just if they directly control the company that's making it, that's when
or just shut them down.
That's when you're like, stop.
Rest in peace, Visceral Games.
Yeah. Can we give it up? Maybe you guys already did this. I don't know. Can we give it up, for the Star Wars community for figuring out that whole loot box shenanigans and actually costing EA some stock points?
Yes.
That was.
Thank you.
Shout out to Star Wars fans.
Well, and kudos to Iger too. He stepped up the day before and just said, "Totally cancel
Shut it down."
I don't. Yeah, because it was just too much bad press right before a release of a film that already. We at that time didn't know it was also going to be very controversial.
Yeah.
So there you have it.
Yeah, I feel like EA is going to be a lot more careful with the games they make from here on. At least that's the hope. It's the hope that they're more careful.
All right, I'm gonna move on to something happier. Okay,
please save me, Todd.
In the years past, it was known as the 501st Legion Bash. This is like the shindig of all shindigs that happened at every celebration. And now all the major clubs, all the cosplay clubs under the Star Wars umbrella are coming together as one, and it's called A Night at Canto Bight. Kind of rhymes,
That's pretty good.
And it's going to be held
destroyed by space horses.
Maybe
they did some remodeling.
Exactly. Yeah. So if you're not aware of this, it's going to be held at the Museum of Science and Industry right around the I think it's the day before Celebration opens, okay? And for this night only, the planning team has arranged for open bar, including beer, wine, spirits, and the Force, and non-alcoholic drinks, including a special themed drink, R2D Teeny. Can't get better than that. Stellar menu, and you can also they also have a fantastic night of casino games. Debuting with special poker chip series that are collectibles, and there's no real money being auctioned. No real gambling going on. It's fun money.
Your credits will do no good here.
Exactly.
Public credits do no good.
So, so basically, you can do all the things you can do at the Chicago Museum of Science and Industry as far as like a museum entrance and all that stuff. And you could be spending nearly $100 for all that stuff. But you also get to do all this cool Star Wars stuff. And again, this used to be just a private sanction event, but it is open to the whole public. So if you're really interested in it, check it out at www.swbash.com for all the deets. So there you go.
We're
Who
gonna have
would
to
want
go.
like collectible poker chips?
Hypothetically.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's going to be in our backyard.
Let's talk after the show.
So yeah, that's going to be happening. I think it's the day before Celebration opens, which I think is the 14th.
It's the pregame.
Yeah, it's pregame. So there you go.
Very nice.
Come meet the WSGR crew.
We would not be opposed.
Even though you have no idea what they look like.
There's enough. That's why you got to subscribe to our YouTube channel.
That's why you
that's
have
right.
to
That's right. Yeah.
Yes. Heather.
Yes.
We got one more news item.
Got one
Wrap
more.
us up here. Yeah.
Right on track with Star Wars Celebration. We have more people coming.
Oh my gosh.
There's more people. I'm really excited, people. So we've got at Van Marshall, who plays Hera, and Star Wars Rebels. We've got Donald Faison, who plays Hype.
Faison.
From Star Wars Resistance.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Catherine Tabor, who does Padme in the Clone Wars.
It's actually pronounced Taber. I'm kidding. I'm giving you a hard time.
Oh my gosh. Oh, lasers through the camera.
Oh my gosh. All right. It's fine. It's all good. Don't worry about it, guys. I'm all
daggers
right.
at me from 100 miles away.
Okay, moving on. We have Tom Kane, who is Yoda from Star Wars Clone Wars. We have Jason Isaacs. Hi, Jason. Who is the Grand Inquisitor from Star Wars Rebels.
Yep.
Tamura Morrison.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Jango Fett, Attack of the Clones.
Yes.
D. Bradley Baker, a.k.a. Captain Rex from Star
Love
Wars
me some
Rebels.
Captain Rex.
Myrna Velasco, also known as Tora Doza in Star Wars Resistance. And we've got Michael Pennington, Moff Tyne-Jiggerjod.
Close
Is that
enough.
not right?
Flawless.
He's flawless. He's the one that needs more time to build a Death Star 2.
Of course.
Yeah, in Return of the Jedi.
Now,
Gotcha.
I totally missed somebody on the
Yes,
front
you
end
did.
of my announcements, and I'm sure the guys are like, Heather, you missed the big one.
Saving
No,
the
I left
best
him for the
last.
end because it's so exciting.
Smart.
Peter Mayhew, Chewbacca himself, will be there.
Yeah.
Woot.
Well, now I have to go.
So if you were having second thoughts, do you spend that much money to get an autograph? The answer is yes.
Because he's almost dead.
He can't even walk. That the poor guy can't even walk now.
Oh,
So-
no.
But yeah,
All right.
so
That's quite the lineup. That is quite the lineup.
That
keep your
is
eyes open. They're going to be everywhere, people.
Lots of peeps. A lot of peeps.
Well, that was quite the news docket. Let's
So much going on.
Let's head on over to Cantina Chat. All right, so this is the segment of the show where we blab about what we've been up to, all things nerdy, all things Star Wars. JD, what's been going on in your world?
Well, actually, today I hopped back into XCOM 2. Really
Ooh.
like that game.
Wow.
And I started going and getting a whole bunch of Star Wars mods. So I'm running around with a group of Republic Commandos. Take that, aliens. And yeah, it makes me really happy because also the mod author put in all of their voices from the games
Ooh.
as like a voice pack.
Nice.
So it makes
That's
me
amazing.
really happy when I get to grab like Fixer and send him over to the tech thing and actually hack something. I'm like, I'm reliving my childhood.
Yeah. So XCOM is it's like a strategy game almost, where it's almost like chess. You have like a squad of soldiers and you move them from cover to cover, and you have to fight off this invading alien species. But but you found a mod pack to make it Star Wars.
Oh, there's so many mods. You can turn XCOM into whatever you want.
Hashtag PC gaming.
Hashtag PC Master Race.
Yes. So get you some XCOM 2 in your life. Get you some Star Wars mods.
Oh yeah.
Live the dream.
It's still super expensive. Wait for a sale. That's
Yeah,
my
wait for a
recommendation.
Yeah, XCOM games don't really go on sale that much.
all the
$15. Come on.
DLC. Well, actually, no. Like there's
all
a
the
sale going on
DLC.
right now. I think.
Oh, that's true. The Lunar New Year sale on
yeah,
Steam.
there's a sale right now. XCOM 2.
Yeah,
Go get it.
75% off. It's
That's
$15.
really good.
Yeah.
Because normally it's what?
Normally it's $60.
Yeah, normally it's full price. This game is still super popular. Go get it.
You can get all the DLC for $35,
Yeah, it's pretty good.
including the game. So we're not sponsored by this game, by the way.
Other video games are available.
Yeah.
Right. I just like this one.
Yep. So, all right. Thank you, JD. Heather, what's been up with you?
So, last week I had mentioned working on creating a light box for some photography things and mentioning that the cardboard box won last time.
Yeah, and I laughed. I feel really bad about that. I did laugh.
That's okay, because this time I can tell you that I won,
Yes.
but then I lost again.
Oh, what happened?
So apparently I made a light box, but really not realizing that I basically just decked out a box. And so
For
the
your
cats are
cats.
like, did you make me a new place to hang out? So really it's just been housing cats, but it's okay. So, but I'm one step closer to pursuing this Star Wars Lego figure photography thing. So stay tuned.
Cool.
Fantastic.
Maybe you should make a decoy light box for your cats.
Yeah,
just keep the real light box for yourself.
Yeah,
exactly.
Right.
Lock it up in the safe.
Yep.
Right.
Oh man. And I went to the store and I bought some Star Wars fabric.
Okay.
Such a thing exists.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
It's pretty great.
Awesome.
So I've got some things planned out for wardrobe for Star Wars Celebration.
I love it.
So I'm super excited. And then thanks to this guy named Todd. I don't know if you know him or not. He's kind of pretty cool. He continues to look out for me, and through a lead of one person, I worked the system, and I found this other person who refers to herself as the mother of Jawas.
Oh.
And so I
That's a
took
title.
a shot in the dark and I reached out to her. And so I am closer to becoming a Jawa thanks to this lovely woman.
Hey.
Can you give us your
I'm
best Wootini?
Oh, I haven't practiced at all. I've got to get there, man.
Yeah,
I gotta figure out. Do I just say Utini? But that doesn't sound good. Like I need to get squeakier and like a different register. So
You got some time.
You got some time.
So so I'm super.
Well, we could get real nerdy too, and we could just make you a sound glove so you can hit a button on your finger, and then you can have the actual sound effect.
Oh.
Don't even get me started. I'm so excited. But yeah. So
Don't give her ideas.
Sadly, it won't happen by celebration. But the cool thing about 501st is that it's not a one-time thing, and it's not a once a year thing.
Yeah.
I'll have several opportunities to be geeky
that's right.
about it. So, I'm jazzed. That decision actually kind of just happened today. So, I'm still a little bit like, oh gosh, am I making the right decision?
You made the right decision. You made the
Wish
right
me luck,
decision.
fans.
Yeah. No.
So.
All right. Take luck. Todd, what's been up with you?
Yeah, so JD just happened to mention this in passing, but I literally watched Teen Titans Go to the movies like 10 times this week because it's an amazing film.
JD sounded like, I'm so sorry.
No, I got it really for the kids, but then I started watching it and it's hilarious. I didn't see it when it came through the theater, but now I saw it and it's on video, and it's highly entertaining and I really enjoyed it. Another thing that is so entertaining, you have to check this out, is this just really I don't know. I just find it awesome. Marvel.com, Captain Marvel. If you go to marvel.com/Captain Marvel, it's in a 90s website, and it is fantastic. I love it.
Oh, I'm looking at it right
so
now.
good. It's so good. So you could spend hours on that website. So I would check it out for your pleasure there.
It is beautifully hideous.
It's like
wow.
Late 80s, early 90s website, and it's fantastic.
I wonder if they have a MySpace page.
Yeah.
It's not authentic until it gives you that piercing, dial-up tone. Whenever you go to it.
Right, exactly. So, I discovered that the other day, and I was just like, this is beautiful. This is like my childhood too. Like you said, JG, it wouldn't be the same without the low modem sound. So
yeah. So if you're gonna go there, you got to pull up YouTube, find up the dial tone sound, and then go to the link, and you'll have a full experience.
Right. I finally bite the bullet, and I got a new phone, which is fantastic. So I feel like so I got a Pixel 3, so I'm very excited about that. So I got that this week. I just purchased Resident Evil 2.
Oh, the remake.
So the remake. So I'm gonna kill some zombies. So I'm very happy about that.
Good luck. Have fun.
Yeah, exactly. And then finally, start watching Solo with the fam, and I actually like that film. I love it, and the kids love it. So it was good. So that's been my week. Aaron, what say you? What's been up with you, my friend?
So I've worked like 50 hours this week.
And sleeping like 1 hour.
Yeah. So been fairly busy. We had to cancel our RPG meeting because it's like, oh, we could just do it after the session tonight and stay up till midnight. And then it's like, oh wait, I got to be up at 5.
No.
So
responsibilities. Boo.
Yeah, unfortunately. But man's got to pay his bills. Keep Jabba off his back. So did that. I got some new camera toys.
Nice.
So I got an actual camera strap. So it's a little bit necessary. Then I got like a little like a cage for your camera. So I have a pretty small mirrorless camera thing, but you could put like a cage on it and give you a bunch of little mounting points for different accessories, and like a nice beefy handle to it, and it's nice. It's nice.
I was going to ask if you had a problem with it running away.
Oh, only a little bit. Only a little bit. He needs to know his place. So just better not misplace the key. Heather, let's wrap this episode up.
Okay. So, thank you again for listening to another episode of WSTR Galactic Public Access. Be sure to check us out on our social media, WSTR Media, all lowercase, all one word. And we always want to hear from you, so please comment, tweet us, rate us on iTunes. You can email us if you've got a lot to say. At mailbox@wstrmedia.com. You can call us and leave us a voicemail at 630-557-WSTR, 630-557-9787. You can check out our complete back catalog of episodes at podcast.wstrmedia.com. As always, you can check out our merch at store.wstrmedia.com. So you've got, let's see, social media, call us, comment, tweet, email us, phone us. That's everything, I think. So next week, episode 110 will be, let's see, Yoda, Imperial Inspection it will be. So that's going to be exciting. And let's see, JD.
Hi.
What a blast having you. And
yes, thank
you.
At
least my education.
Yeah.
If anything.
Thank you for having me back. It's been fun.
Yes.
Excellent.
Absolutely.
Excellent.
Where can listeners find you, or should they find you?
Yeah, right.
Where can they find me? I don't know. I have yet to find myself. But that's an existential crisis question. We'll shove that under the table.
Yeah.
I guess best thing would be my email. It's John D. Barrow, all one word, all lowercase, @gmail.com.
Send him all of your hate mail.
Yeah, I don't really use Facebook or Instagrams or
He's
actually,
off the grid.
Yeah.
I
talking to some old men here.
I have a really old YouTube channel.
Ooh.
That maybe
one
if
will
you guys bring me back again, I'll share what it is, and you can watch all my embarrassing videos that are still up. They're still up. Me and my friends we played Call of Duty Black Ops.
Oh no.
And I had a Kinect, an Xbox Kinect as a mic.
No.
So they're real trash.
Yeah.
The comedy's actually pretty good though, if you can hear it.
Yeah. But the execution.
Oh yeah. During before the dark times.
Yes. Before the Empire. All right. Thanks for coming back. Heather,
Wow.
how do we end this?
I mean, well, weirder than we started, but let's also end the way we always do. So if you're ready, let's do it. Now.
This is
Podcasting.
You could Darth Revan to crush this podcast to bits.
Yeah.
That would be